Nathan, Daniel Wells okay this week?
No, we'll have to. He got through training okay, and we'll see how he pulls up. But given his lack of mobility at the end, towards the end of the game and through the game last week, he definitely has a query on whether he'll get up. We'll give him every chance because he's in our best side clearly, but. Yeah, he's had a lot of experience in the game, so his feedback will be important. But how he pulls up tomorrow morning will be a big part of that decision.
In replacing Brodie, Mason Cox?
Yeah, look, Coxie's done a lot of ruck work in the VFL in recent weeks. In the last 4 to 6, he's clearly, we know that we've trained him up as a forward target. He's not going to play wing or rover or anywhere else. So he's a ruckman and he's a tall forward, and it's a great opportunity for him to show his ruck development over the last couple of years. We've seen him in a second ruck role, and he and Darcy will share that responsibility. But it's a fantastic opportunity for him and a chance to take the next step in his AFL journey.
The tackle, have you had to redefine your idea of what the perfect tackle is?
No, we haven't. As you see, there's a lot of. There's no grey area in regards to when a player is concussed in a tackle that 100% of the liability and duty of care goes towards the person who is tackling. The reality is that generally when that happens, or when you see those concussive incidents, the player that's getting tackled is fighting the tackle in some shape or form, or trying to dispose of the football, loses balance, and then there's a head knock. So it really is few and far between. I think the AFL are doing a good job in trying to legislate against concussions and head knocks, especially in tackles and in bumps. We're not going to be able to remove it totally from the game of footy unless you don't want it to be footy anymore. But technically, Brodie's tackle was exactly as we'd want it, and we won't. At this stage, we won't coach any differently because that really is, one in 1,000, one in 2,000 in regards to us for the year, because we've been a fair tackling team. We can be better, but we've been a fair tackling team, and we've been able to coach the right methods and impact the opposition when we're tackling, and that's really why we're doing it.
So there's no tackling technique problem there. He was just more unlucky with the outcome.
There's clearly some luck that has to do with it. There was a tackle about 10 minutes later, North Melbourne player on Jared Blair, and the mechanism was identical. The fact that you've got two less than 6 foot players with a combined mass of probably one of Brodie or Ben Brown versus the big bodies that that were in the Grundy Brown tackle, and Blairy hit his head, but he wasn't concussed. And the North player, is he lucky that Blairy wasn't knocked out? I think more often you see that result where there's a really solid tackle laid, the arms are pinned, because you don't want to allow your opponent to get a handball or a disposal away. That's what tackling's all about, is to try and prevent disposal and earn a free kick. So we will still be looking to grab a handle and pin an arm. We don't coach, when we coach out here, we don't coach to go to ground. We don't tackle to ground at training. In our tackling drills, but you are trying to prevent disposal, and sometimes, as I said, when that wrestle ensues and the person who is tackled fights the tackle and commits everything to try and getting a foot to a ball, they can be off balance, and I think that's where we get those concussive incidences. And at present, there's no grey area. That is all on the tackler.
Brodie was a bit sort of shaken up after the game. How has he been throughout the week?
Yeah, he's philosophical. He couldn't really do a great deal about it. Only he knows what his absolute intent was, and that's why intent's been taken out of the legislation as such, or the penalty. The only thing that really matters is is whether a player gets knocked out or not at this stage. So it's nearly like everything goes as long as there's no repercussions from a physical nature in the opposition. So Broads is disappointed because he preferred to be playing, but he understands the way that the law's written and the way that the MRP are viewing it at present. And he's taken it on the chin. We're looking forward to this, whether that's the right way to prevent those head knocks, and how many of those head knocks are we preventing by this legislation is something that'll be an end of year discussion, and I look forward to being a part of that.
What do you make of Pendle's comments that some of the speculation about your future might have affected on-field results?
Oh, I suppose it's been spoken about enough, and generally it's an answer. And it is on his podcast, and he's answering a question that Jay's throwing at him. But probably through that 3 weeks post-bye, there was a perception that the players were doubting their future or the future of the club, or impacted in some shape or form by the review that was taking place and what that might mean to key positions in the footy department and the future of the footy department. But the player's job is to play, the coach's job is to coach, and the board's job, along with the CEO and the director of footy, it's their job to make decisions on the best way forward. And I think let the baker bake the bread, and know your role and do that to the best of your ability. So that's what we're focusing on.
Bit Dennis Pagan there.
Yeah, or Jeff Walsh.
Do players have to be better than that though, and block that out better, or is that just human instinct?
We're making it real by talking about it. It's been and gone. It's either an excuse or a reason, depending on what perspective you're on. But in the end, you either win or lose. You either play well or you don't, and that's all that really matters. So we've got our focus firmly on Port Adelaide and the challenge on Sunday that we're looking forward to.
They smashed you around the ball last time. Is that still clear in the players' minds?
Yeah. They smashed us around the ball, and they worked harder than us. It was their most comprehensive loss through the year, and we were personally really impressed with the way that Port went about it that day. We've got some clear focuses going into the game. We understand that they'll be on the rebound from last week and a disappointing showdown performance. They'll be well rested potentially. So we'll be ready for the fight back and ready for what's to come.
Did you see Jesse's announcement coming?
Yeah, he spoke to me before he said it. You walked into that one. Well, look, Jess has had an indifferent year. But 11 years in the game and to spend the last 4 with us after obviously the 7 with Sydney is a fair effort. 130 odd games, and I think when a player makes those decisions, and we've seen a spate of them of retirements recently. It is retirement season. It takes a bit of baggage off the shoulders and gives the players the capacity to sort of attack their footy without any long-term questions or clouds on the horizon. So, Jesse's been playing some okay footy at VFL level, and we want him to enjoy the rest of his career here and the rest of his career in the AFL. So, he's been a good acquisition for us. He's played important roles at times, and I'm sure he'd like to finish off strongly.
If things don't work out here, would the Gold Coast job prick your interest?
I'm fully focused on this week against Port Adelaide, mate. It's and this is where I want to be, and that decision will come to bear in good time. But no, I'm not looking over the fence at all, mate. Do
you see yourself though as a career coach, or is this the one job for you?
Not really a question I feel I need to open up or answer at this point, mate.
Will you be watching the footy show tonight?
I might just channel flick and have a look. Obviously, Ed's got a lot invested in it, and it's been a big part of his life. And you support your mates wherever you can. So I don't know if I've got a box on on my TV that sort of registers where I'm watching. But if I have, I'll make sure that one of the screens is on the footy show at some point in time.
Just on the Gold Coast, do you find it funny at all that, you know, so much has been made of the way you've coached this year and your role here, and then you've sort of been linked to another club already?
No, nothing surprises me with the media and making connections that aren't really there. Not you in particular. But no, that's. I do see a lot of your jobs as spitballing and what ifing and hypothesising, and that's great. But I'd rather deal with what I can impact on right here, right now, and do that to the best of my ability. And I'll leave that stuff to you guys.
Do you have to have one eye on the future though, given it's not certain here? Yeah, absolutely I do. So it goes, you know, family, friends, career. You know, that's my future is about being the best dad I can be, the best husband I can be, contributing in the environment that I'm in a work sense as much as I possibly can. So that's my future, and my challenges and my opportunities are no different to any other person. I'll either earn further opportunities or I won't. I'm either of value or I'm not. The club needs to stand alone and make decisions based on what it thinks is best for its future. And I suppose every individual has that opportunity as well, but whatever the club needs and feels through this review is the right way to go forward. It'll have my 100% support, whether it's for or against. That's just the way I see it. Is what's happened the last 4 weeks relevant, do you think?
What happens every day is relevant, absolutely. Yeah, it's all relevant, it all matters. Yeah, if you blow it up or if you add more value, well, then that's got to be into the mix. But the easy way is to look at win-loss of recent times and to say that makes it better. I'm sure it doesn't hurt it, but there are things that are quite significant in the environment that are being reviewed, I would presume, and they would be not making headlines, but they would be significant parts of decision making that the board would consider. I would hope.
The way you guys have performed since Scott's injury, how impressed have you been with the leadership of Adams, Sidebottom, and Jeremy? Yeah,
I think the easiest thing to do is to look at your designate leaders and to quantify your leadership around those guys, and even the Pendles, Steele, Tay, and Jeremy have been really strong throughout the year, and obviously Jeremy being added to as designate leaders as a vice captain midway through the year. But Scott is still having impact off field, but you do rely on your on field leadership, and when you rely on on-field leadership, if you're relying on 2 or 3 or 4, well then you are shallow and you are light on. You have a Tom Phillips or a Braden Maynard or a Jordan De Goey. When you're teaching these players what you need from them in their roles or in the game, you're teaching them leadership as well, because they've got a chance to impact on the rest of their teammates. So we've been encouraged by even young players taking that responsibility and putting their hand up and saying that they want to drive on field and make decisions on field. So leadership's a lot deeper and wider than just the designates, but those boys, Tay Adams has really stepped up. Jeremy's been consistent through the year, and Steele, with the captain's title, just looks comfortable in the role and has been leading really well on field.
Beautiful. Thank you, Nathan.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.